All right, hey everybody. I believe we are live. I hope you guys can see me okay. I know I'm in a crappy little hotel room, but hey, it is what it is. I just got back from the NRA show in Houston, Texas. I'm nice and sweaty. Been out at the range. I'm dying. But it's all good. It's all good. And so, anyways, I'm just want to hang out with you guys. I can't hang out with you guys tomorrow night because I got a night shoot tomorrow night. We're doing our Tactical Precision Rifle 101 course tomorrow night. And well, tomorrow, 2-day course, and it includes a night shoot tomorrow night. So what we have done is, do I blow off Tactical Tuesday? Do I not do it for you guys? Right? Do I say, nah, we don't need to do it? But I missed last Tuesday because I was sick. So what I decided to do was let's do it on Memorial Day, right? So I hope you guys were enjoying your Memorial Day because I have not. I have not enjoyed my Memorial Day at all. Nah, that's not even good coffee. That is ghetto ass lobby of the hotel coffee. But it is what it is, you know. But you know what is good coffee is our sponsor tonight, Hero Coffee. Hero Coffee is good stuff, guys. So of all the things to sponsor tonight, because it's Memorial Day, Hero Coffee actually has what they call a Hero Blend, and it supports a bunch of different veteran charities. So it's kind of cool. You go to their motto is help everyone remain operational. Hero Coffee. So they've got a blend for like your paramedics, and they got a blend for law enforcement. They even got a blend for like contractors, but they have one for the military and everything. So you want to help support veterans, right? We all do. We all want to support veterans, but we also want to drink good coffee. I wish I had a couple bags of Hero Blend coffee with me right here because I so don't. Guys, I wish you could see how nasty. Can you guys? This is like picture not even like McDonald's coffee. Picture like Long John Silver coffee at like 1 a.m. and they just fired the head cook. And yeah, literally, that's how bad this is. But I'm going to muscle it down. Why? Because I got to do the whole SF thing. So. Booyah, Grandma. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. All right. So anyways, I know you guys got a bunch to talk about. So do I. So I hope everybody, first off, I want to everybody that had a chance to go out and visit memorials today, because remember, that's what Memorial Day is actually about. I want to say thank you to everybody that actually went out and visited memorials and stuff. And because the whole point of it is not to forget not just the veterans that have fought for our freedom, but the veterans that have actually fallen. So go out, check out those memorials. And Memorial Day can be any day. You don't have to do it just on Memorial Day. So that's what I've basically done is I do Memorial Day and I grill and I get in the swimming pool and all that. But I also go around and I check out local memorials near me. You'd be surprised what kind of cool military history is in just about every little town across the world. Now, you start getting more up into New England and everything, and East Coast, yeah, you find Revolutionary War stuff. My hometown, I used to go out and play Army in a Revolutionary War cemetery. So I'd be hiding behind gravestones and I'd be looking at it and it'd say 1770 something, because I mean it was literally worn that bad. But anyway, so the guys that got out checked out memorials today. Thanks for doing that. Now, I couldn't do that. We just wrapped up the NRA show. My precision rifle course starts tomorrow. So I'm not joking, guys. I literally just checked into the hotel. I have had no technical difficulties at all setting up this computer, the lights and everything. Literally, these are my lights. Seriously, that's how ghetto I am here. All right. I've had no technical difficulties. I literally just signed in. I got hotel rooms for me, my other instructors, and they're still out at the range, hard at work. So I got some surprises for you tonight. We're gonna have Seaux Larreau, a total SF legend. He is my assistant instructor for this course. So Sue is going to be here, and he's looking forward to visiting with you guys. And maybe we can get him to tell you a couple of Carl Erickson stories. Who knows? We'll see. Me and Sue, we've got a lot of I won't say it's dirt on each other. But we got a lot of great stories. We really do. We have a lot of great stories. If you're not familiar with who Seaux Larreau is, Seaux Larreau, he went AWOL from the French Foreign Legion and went and joined the U.S. military. He's an American citizen before then. Was in a Ranger before that. But literally, me and Sue were doing a live fire sniper stalk at Cassidy Mount site on Fort Campbell. We just took our live shot. They still couldn't see us, even when the walker was within 10 feet of us. We sent our second live fire shot. Both of them were hits. They never saw us. We were the first sniper team done. And as we come walking in, we're taking off our ghillie suits and everything. And that's when the call came over the radio that some idiot had just accidentally flown a commercial airliner into the World Trade Center. What kind of idiot would be flying that low? What a moron. And then the call came into the second plane and then the Pentagon. And by that afternoon, I was on my driveway spray painting all my tan desert kit into darker shades of brown because we already knew we were going to Afghanistan. So anyway, Seaux Larreau was with me when the towers fell. And then he was with me in the initial invasion of Afghanistan, Horn of Africa, initial invasion of Iraq, and then our careers just blurred and went everywhere. So, anyways, Sue is literally a great, great American. Guys, my book, if I ever write it, will be called War Stories, a Comedy. And it's all going to be little. Each chapter will be a little standalone vignette, little war story about something cool and hilarious that happened. Seaux Larreau gets his own chapter in my book. You understand? I don't even get my own chapter in my own book. Seaux Larreau gets his own chapter in my book. It is called Break Glass in Time of War, Seaux Larreau. So cool stuff. Anyways, you guys know the deal. You do not need to put money in the super chat. Even though I would love for you to put money in the super chat to ask questions, you do not have to. Sue just said, okay, they are cooking hamburgers back at the range. They're supposed to be weed eating the berm where we're going to be doing the moving targets. Yeah, Sue better have got that done, and he better have painted the steel on the Larreau pop-ups. All right, you guys know the deal. If you want to ask a question, better not have anything to do with a hot dog being a sandwich. But if you have legitimate questions, Susan Britcher and our other moderators, they will pull your questions out of the chat window. And Susan will text them to me right here. My blushing bride has actually already texted me. I had a glitch with my audio to start off with. But hi, honey, if you're watching, you know I love you. My wife is at home, and I wish I was there with her. Honestly, guys, I wish I could get out of this shirt and go jump in the shower. I really need a shower right now. I can. You go walking through all that tall grass on the sniper range, and then you kind of feel like the chiggers like creeping up your legs. I don't know if y'all have ever been out in the grass of Texas or Kentucky. I see Big Fezzik's made it. We got Ray here. We got all kinds of people hanging out. All right, so you guys, I just asked, keep the chat room PG-13, please. All right, first one up, Susan Britcher. Guys, Susan does a lot for Tactical Rifleman. Paul American, what was Carl's most technical tour of duty? Most technical tour of duty. So I ended up I was finished my time as team sergeant, master sergeant on my A team, and sitting in Baghdad. And my company sergeant major calls me into the office, and he goes, so I walk in there, and there's the group command sergeant major there, group command sergeant major, and Perry Bear. Perry Bear is dead now, but anyway, Perry Bear was there, and they're like, "Hey, look, you've done your third year as team sergeant. You're not going to get a fourth year. Do you want to go to B team? You want to go to staff? Where you want to go?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I want to stay on an A team." They're like, "You're not staying on an A team. Where do you want to go?" And I was like, "Well, I want to stay in A15." They're like, "Well, you don't understand it." And the only other spot in the A15 is his slot, the company sergeant major. I'm like, "All right, I'll take his slot." And I meant it jokingly. And the group command sergeant major went, "Bet." Okay. He's like, "You come be my first sergeant up at group headquarters for 1 year. 1 year. I guarantee you'll make sergeant major, and I guarantee you'll get A15, your SIF company." And he's like, "You want the job?" And I said, "No, of course not." He's like, "All right, you're hired." And I was like, "No, what?" He's like, "I don't want the guy that wants the job. I want the guy that will do a good job. And your company sergeant major and I both agree you would make a good first sergeant up at group headquarters." Now, if you don't know what group headquarters is, basically you've got all your support kids. Right? You got all your SFA teams, right? You got 6 A teams per company and then 3 companies per battalion. You got 4 battalions of SF guys in the SF group. And B teams, that's your company sergeant major, company commander. You've got your supply sergeant and your MBC guy and a couple other things. But for the most part, all of the support kids are up at battalion and group headquarters. So you've got your typists, you've got your satellite imagery guys, you've got all your mechanics, you've got cooks, you've got intel weenies, you've even got the chaplain, right? So over that headquarters, even though assigned to the company headquarters, HHC, headquarters and headquarters company, you have literally the group commander and the group command sergeant major. They're not in charge of that company. Who's in charge of the company is actually a major and a first sergeant. And so I go up there, and there's no way this is going to work. One, because I'm not even eligible. I'm not even eligible to be a sergeant major yet. I'm literally just coming up for my first look in the secondary zone. So there's no way I'll ever make sergeant major. So I get up to group headquarters. Now there's a group support battalion that's got its own command sergeant major. Now the problem though is 5th group was always going back and forth, 6 months to Iraq, 6 months back, 6 months. The actual commander, the group commander with all his support kids. And when they're in Iraq, a lot of those support battalion kids are in his attached to him. And when they get back to the rear, they're spread back out to battalion. And when he goes back over, they get sliced back over. Well, he didn't like that. So he said, "Look, when we're in the rear back at Fort Campbell, all these people that I bring over to the combat zone with me, when we're in the rear, they're going to stay attached to headquarters and headquarters company." So instead of the headquarters first sergeant having a 80-man company, I had 180-man company. And to make matters worse, the support battalion command sergeant major, a red beret, not a green beret, he's a red beret, did not like the fact that half of his soldiers belonged to this lowly first sergeant. And so anyways, I roll in there, and the outgoing first sergeant, Sergeant Major Mack, he had pinned on sergeant major. And he's like, and he's got the 1,000-yard stare. He's like, "Yeah, dude, it's going to take you about 11 months to figure out how to do this job, and then you're give it up at your 12-month mark." He was coming up on his 12-month mark. So he's showing me all the paperwork and control and everything. That was the most technical part of my career I've ever had to do, was dealing with all the spreadsheets and running everybody's careers and everything. But I hated it right away. And everybody there in the company they immediately hated me because they knew, well, this guy is not just a Green Beret. This is Master Sergeant Erickson from the SIF company. They all knew who I was because it would go across the SATCOM radio that, man, Master Sergeant Erickson, they're in the JOF right now. His snipers are killing more people than smallpox. People knew me by name, but they'd never met me. And all of a sudden, I'm in charge of all of them, and I'm wearing first sergeant rank. So, anyways, to deconflict stress and stuff, I would walk down the hallway and just keep flipping open my switchblade. It's just kind of a nervous twitch. So it's kind of like peg leg Blackbeard walking across the deck of the ship. People could hear me in their offices while they're typing, and they'd hear that switchblade, and they'd be all like me walking by, and they're like, so anyways, so I'd start taking over the company, and immediately there was this fat rat bastard, that Kamo guy, who was 80 pounds overweight. And the Army had this new weight control program. And since it was a new program, you weren't allowed to throw anybody out of the Army for being overweight. So I threw him out of the Army anyways. It just took a lot more paperwork. I destroyed him. But we would do little things like the swim test. And they would, you had to swim 50 meters uniform in boots. Okay. And so you had non-swimmers, and then you had weak swimmers. Well, I get to the other end of the pool, and this kid makes it, and I got everybody there. I got Chaplain Murphy, the highest ranked chaplain in all of 5th Group. I've got the colonel, the group commander is there. I've got the group command sergeant major there. I've got all these officers. They're all assigned to me. They all have to jump in the pool. Everybody has to do it. SF, you don't get the pool rank. So I'm standing there, and I got a staff sergeant with the clipboard, and this kid jumps in the pool, and he makes it to the end. He made it to the other end, 50 meters, uniform boots, and he gets out of the pool, and I go, weak swimmer. And they go, but first sergeant, he made it. And I said, yeah, but he barely made it. And they're like, but he made the standard. And so anyways, I got the group command sergeant major there. I got the group commander there, but there's Chaplain Murphy. And I looked right at him. I'm like, Chaplain Murphy, is there any regulation that says God has to have the helicopter crash within 50 meters of shallow water? Is there any regulation that says God has to have the helicopter crash within 50 meters of shallow water? And he looked at the group commander, and he looked at the sergeant major, and he looked at me, and he goes, no, first sergeant, there's actually no regulation that says God has to do that. Weak swimmer, right? I got Seaux Larreau who just walked in the room. So anyways, that was their introduction to me. That was like my 3rd day there. Now, after a while, they realized, because I made all the weak swimmers do swimming lessons with me. I would bring them to the pool, my non-swimmers and my weak swimmers, and I would make them do swimming lessons. We would, instead of doing road marches, they would walk with their rucksacks through the woods with me, the first sergeant. And we would do combatives. They would do just once a month, not bad, but once a month, they would come do PT, physical training with me. And true to that sergeant major's word, I was first sergeant for 2 weeks when I came out on the sergeant major's list, first look in the secondary zone. And yeah, true to their word, I did end up taking over A15, but that was the longest year for me. It was a long year. The cool part was from there, I was supposed to go to the Sergeant Major's Academy, El Paso, Texas for 10 months. And you're supposed to take your family, you got to clear base and everything. But at the last minute, they said, hey, Erickson, we need you back in Baghdad. Instead of going for 10 months to the Army Sergeant Major's Academy, if you want, you can go to the Air Force Academy, and it's only 5 weeks long, and it counts the same. I'm like, 10 months in El Paso, 5 weeks, literally 4 hours from my home. I can drive home on weekends. So anyways, I never went to the Army Sergeant Major's Academy. That's why when you look, guys, if you look right there, you don't see any scar tissue where they give me that frontal lobotomy. And if you ever look on the back of my neck, you'll see that I never had my spine ripped out either. So I'm not a very good sergeant major. I'm just not. And so anyways, it's all good. Hey, Drew, you ready to come sit? I'm going to slide over here, guys. Yeah. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the train wreck known as Seaux Larreau. Sue, here's the deal. You're loud. Look, Sue's as deaf as I am, but the mic is just right up here, so you're going to have to talk in. All right. So here's the deal. If you guys got questions for Sue, all you got to do is put them in the chat room. I'm falling behind here. Let me see. Here we go. That was a long answer to a really short question. It took me 20 minutes to answer the first one. David Koski, Carl, did they really play Panama from Van Halen at Noriega's compound? I don't know. I don't know on that one. Let's go to the next one. I'm not going to lie to you.
I heard they played a lot of music there.
Yeah. Laser 1562. Want to buy body armor for my wife and kids. Any idea where to find kids and women's? Please help. Honest, dude, I don't know where they make. I know there's a lot of, if you look, go to like LA police, whatever, the website there, they've got a lot of body armor for like very small female officers, right? You're looking at concealable, like level 2, level 3, but there's 3 alpha, everything available right now. I wouldn't get anything below 3 alpha. Guys, if you go to tacticalrifleman.com, if you go to our tab where our store is, and then you'll see a tab that says companies we love. If you scroll down through there, there's a company called Leatherback Gear. It is a old Secret Service guy, and what he does is he makes bulletproof backpacks. It's literally like a book bag, and if it's ever active shooter, there's a red zipper on top. You pull that red zipper, it goes all the way around the bag, and it opens it up into you can literally slide it right over your head, and it is a insanely light 3 alpha panel on the front, 3 alpha panel on the back, and you can cinch it tight. And that front pocket right there, it'll hold AR mags, medical gear, whatever. The side straps can be used for tourniquets. But the problem with saying you want to buy body armor for your family is, are they going to wear it? I would rather them bring this. My daughter went through college. I got her one of those Leatherback Gear book bags. It's good looking gray bag. You would never know. It's got a nice pocket, a shielded pocket for a laptop. It is a great bag. She will forget it's got body armor in it, but that red zipper will always be there. And if she's going to run, let's say run, hide, barricade, fight, you put it on your back while you're running. Now both panels are on the back. 2 level 3 alpha panels are on your back. And guys, we did a video. If you want to see how good it is, we did a video. You can find it in our video archive. Go to Tactical Rifleman YouTube channel. By the way, you're there right now. And you could search Leatherback Gear or bulletproof backpack, and it'll pop up. Watch the video. We shot it. We shot the hell out of it. It stopped green tip. It stopped AK, and it really did. All right. What you reading in there, Sue?
These guys want to eat my dog. Why do you guys want to eat my dog? I love that dog.
You see what I got to deal with? You guys see what I got to deal with, right?
All
right.
Chapo. You don't need to eat Chapo.
All right. Okie Precision, Tactical Rifleman. What's the worst fall you sustained downrange? How did your weapons do? Any damage? Actually, I don't know my worst fall. We'll get to that. They'll send it to us. All right. Literally, I don't know my worst fall because I'm always falling. I have fallen off of Humvees. I have tripped and fallen off of the tailgate of helicopters. I have rappelled out of a Blackhawk and trying to race the other guy across from me, because we were racing to get to the ground first. He never set his brake hand, so I never did either. And I literally went Alice pack back of my head on the ground, never brake. Probably my worst fall though was I was that cool guy, and
When you fell in love with me on 9/11.
no. Ah! You see what I got to work with. Whenever the Blackhawks come in, right, they go to land on the grass right before they hit. They're supposed to hit, and then you jump out and you take a knee and you face out, and then the helicopter flares, takes off, and then you get up and move. Well, we would undo that safety strap and hook it on the other side of the door. And to be cool, right before the wheels would touch the ground, you could look with your nods, and right before it would touch the ground, you would step out and you drop about 6 inches, and then you take a couple steps out, you take a knee, face out, looks cool. Everybody's seen it in the movies. And I used to do that every time the guy sitting with Sue was, because you'd be sitting on the edge of the doorway. The doors there'd be no doors. Sue would hand me the strap. It wasn't Sue. Sue was out of my company by then. But whoever was there would hand me the strap. We would sit 3 guys wide in the doorway. I'd hand it to that guy. He'd hook it on the door. And literally right before we hit the ground, I would step out. Worked great. Except for the one time it wasn't grass. It was 10-foot tall elephant grass. So I went to go do my 6-inch step down, and I ended up hitting nods first into the ground and rolled over on my back. Now, my speed reload mag that, just Kydex holding it, friction, came out of my pistol belt. My speed reload mag off my belt came out of my belt. My one speed reload rifle mag on my body armor came out. All the rest of my mags, I keep Velcro flaps on them. You've seen them. You've seen it on my gun belt. I only have one speed reload mag. The other one has got a retainer on it. And I did that because about 6 months prior, I watched the guy trip coming off the ramp of a 47. And we thought he'd been shot. We looked back, and he is on knees trying to pick up all 10 of his magazines because everything had fallen out because he didn't have any retainers. He was just using these little
Wants to see my man, buddy.
fags. Ask him to show where he had his nipples removed. He'll show you. So anyways, I learned from his mistake, and I said, you only need one speed reload mag, right? Because after that, you can always refill that pouch. So I changed how I did things, and that was my worst fall. Bell rung. But yeah, I have fallen off the mountain in Afghanistan. Remember, Mark cut his head open. Mark broke his arm. Jeff McLeod cut his head open. Mm-hmm. I tore up my back. Yeah, that was was that a rough night in Afghanistan. I didn't get you any coffee, Sue. I'm glad you brought your own. All right, so how about you, Sue? Worst fall ever?
Actually, I fell off a cliff one time in New Mexico. I fell 60 feet.
60 feet.
Broke a foot. Landed feet first, and then hit I was over like this. I actually hit some rock about 30 feet down. I turned over, and I landed on my feet, but my head hit the ground. I got the scar up here.
That's how you got that scar?
That's one of the scars. Then I got a broken foot at the same time. So,
wow.
Well, that's why my left foot takes a wide boot, and my right foot takes a regular boot.
There you go. That's fair. Guys, legitimate, if you've seen me up close, you know, as soon as I buy brand new shoes, I have to cut the back of them open on my left foot because I tore up my Achilles tendon too many times, and the scar tissue inside the tendon sheath, it just never heals up right. All right, next question. Oh shit, this is a long one. Mark Seaton. Hey, Carl, are there any of your TR1 signature rifles available? I'm Ohio, found the nearest dealer 90 miles. Nice ride. See more of the state. Of course, I could have it shipped to me. Thanks. I have no idea, dude. Honest, I have not spoke with Tactical Edge in a couple of months. I haven't. I'm planning on talking to them because I have heard they're putting out rifles with serial numbers in the 300s, which, okay, that means they've sold 300 rifles, and the deal was we were only going to sell 100. I wonder why all you guys are pissed off. Honest, I don't know. I plan on following up with them, but to be honest, I have not talked to Tactical Edge here in quite a while. I plan on it though. Guys. It's an awesome rifle. It really is. Luke P. Hey Carl, do you know why Sue quit French Foreign Legion? All right, Sue. They didn't believe me when I told them. So you're up. Tell them first off, why in the hell would you even join the French Foreign Legion?
I was too mean for the Rangers. I was in the Ranger school. I was actually in the Ranger Recon for a year when the 3rd Battalion and the 75th Regimental Headquarters started up. And I have a fluke. I ended up in the Ranger Regimental Recon teams. And I was only in E4. I got to go straight to Halo School. We still jumped SF-10s. We had a belly reserve and a round parachute for our first 10 jumps. It was before square, and our class actually, we packed our own square parachutes. And then a few months after that, I made E5, and it was time for me to go to Ranger School. And I went to Ranger School, and I was the honor grad towards the end. And then I got in a fight with another student who happened to be an officer. So Colonel Downing kicked me out of the Ranger Regiment.
You still got your Ranger tab though.
I did not get my Ranger tab.
Did you not?
No, I got my honor grad certificate ripped up in front of my face.
Shit!
Yeah, just like Afghanistan, I got a counseling.
You got a dental appointment.
A counseling statement. So, but I only had like 2.5 months left to go on my first tour. So I went ahead and ETS. They actually sent me back to Ranger Department to work at Ranger Department after failing Ranger School. And you got to understand, Ranger Regiment and Ranger School are two different animals, guys. Two different animals. One's a school. The regiment is where you actually do it every day for 365 days a year. So I was pretty disappointed in that. I thought, well, I'm going to get out of the Army, and I was thought I was going to make $1 million, but I got out of the Army about the same time the OPEC lowered the price of a barrel of oil down to about. Back then it was about $25. So all the oil fields closed down, so I couldn't return to the oil field. So I was reading Soldier of Fortune magazine, and on the recon teams we always talked about being mercenaries, right? So I went to Belgium thinking I was going to be a mercenary. It didn't work out so good when I met some of the contacts over there in Belgium. I said, let me think about it. I'm going to go down to Paris for the weekend. I went down to Paris with my last paycheck in the Army and run around the red light district and drinking some alcohol and wasting the rest of my money. And then saw a poster for the French Foreign Legion, and there I was. I went to French Foreign Legion.
All right. So you wake up the next morning, you're in the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
What made you leave the French Foreign Legion?
Well, you got to understand this is the mid 80s, 1986, 1985. 86.
That was when, to refresh your memories, that's when Reagan sent his F-111 bombers to bomb Gaddafi's embassy in Libya.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So he missed Gaddafi, but back then it was a little bit different than it is now. The French Foreign Legion was not a good place to be. It wasn't great training. I was in the Deuxième Rep, or the 2nd Parachute Regiment on the island of Corsica, and there's about 9 of us Americans, and we all caught a bunch of slack, or a bunch of ribbing from the rest of the guys in the Legion. Half of them were French anyway. The French had a conscription army back in the 80s, and the French army was actually worse than the Legion. So half the guys that got drafted would end up claiming they were from Switzerland or Canada and then going to the French Foreign Legion because they thought they'd get a little bit better training, which wasn't really. They did, but not much better.
How bad does the French military have to be that you want
horrible.
You want good training, so you go to the French
so I went from Ranger
Legion.
Regiment to the COSCOM could wipe these guys out. So it was pretty bad. So.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, I went AWOL and made it all the way up to Paris and met up with another American friend of mine, and I thought he'd help me get back to the States. And he's like, no, just turn yourself back in, and they'll just kick you out. So I turned myself back in, and don't move. It was 10 days solitary and 20 days hard labor. in the what we call the Nick. You know, it's basically the internment facility or the correctional facility they had on every base. And then a few months after that is when the F-111s, where the whole story about the F-111s really came to pass. And Mitterrand and Reagan did not get along. And I think only one out of the 9 Americans that were in my regiment, one stayed, and the rest of us left and took off.
If you guys don't recall, I understand a lot of you weren't even alive back then. Reagan's F-111 bombers. Understand it's a 2-man plane basically. No laser guided bombs. They go in radar sweeping, looking at the outline of the coast, and they kind of try to, that's right about where it needs to be. Those planes are, because the French wouldn't let them fly over France, they had to fly all the way around France, which
refuel over Spain.
Yeah, which made the pilots very, very tired. So tired that one of the planes accidentally dropped a bomb on the French embassy in Libya. But I could see why the Americans would want to go AWOL. So anyways, you kind of answered the next question up because his question was, hi, Carl and Sue. Why did Sue not complete his French Foreign Legion service? And they said, God bless. Thank you for your service. Love, Craddock. All right. How about you finish the story? Because it's a good story, guys. Sue actually comes back to the States. You hid for a while, but then you went SF, right?
Yeah, well, I came back to the States and I thought my military career was over. I was done with the military. I thought that so I ended up working. I came back. I had 2 sets of clothes. When I got back to the United States, I had 2 sets of clothes and $5. And an Army buddy of mine was in, around Cincinnati area, northern Kentucky. I started there. I worked for about a year and got back up on my feet. And
we actually met him at
matter of fact, his daughter,
the last Patreon class. Yeah,
his daughter was at the gate at Kabul, Navy corpsman. So she was
not one of the ones that got killed.
No, we were the first ones there.
Yeah,
she was the last one to leave. So,
oh yeah, okay,
so
all right.
She nearly got killed.
All right,
good gal. She's my goddaughter now. But
so you go SF.
Well, I actually bummed around the country for about 3 years.
Walking the world like Kane from Kung Fu.
No, not like Kane. I had a tool bag.
A tool bag.
Yeah,
you're definitely a tool.
I was a carpenter. I went from one boom town to another. So I worked in Florida. I worked a little bit in Florida. I worked in Ohio and Kentucky. I worked in Florida. I worked in Arizona. I actually tried to go to college in Arizona. I was a prison guard for a year. That didn't work out so good. That's why I tell everybody I was in prison. I know what it's like to be in prison. I was actually wearing the badge. I wasn't. But that's a good way to get a college education. Hold up a liquor store in the 80s, you could get a free education. I was paying for my education. So I dropped out of college and ended up in Washington State and ran into an old Ranger buddy of mine. He said, "What are you doing? You're a good soldier. Why don't you go back to the Army?" And I was like, "No, I'm done with that. I'm done with that." And he goes, "No, go SF. And go." So he said, "Come to Fort Lewis," and I was meet my company commander, 12th Group Special Forces. They're disbanded now.
Yeah.
But I went and met the company commander, and he gave me the spiel, and he said, I told him if he could get me out of here in a week, that I would try to go to the Q course for him. And he said, you have to jump out of an airplane. So he gave me a slip of paper. I went and got new uniforms. And the next day jumped out of a C-141. And
no shit.
I went back to the MEP station and got my orders and headed out. Left my tools in my pickup truck in a parking lot at the grocery store.
All right. So one of your first missions as a Green Beret was a FID mission in France.
No, in Turkey.
In Turkey.
Right when the Gulf War, remember, Provide Comfort?
Yeah, but wasn't it like a French unit there? You were doing airborne school with them?
Well, I was teaching them. The way it was I got to Fort Devens, shortly after the Gulf War. We were all very disappointed that we missed the war. Matter of fact, most of the students in the Q course or in the qualification course to be Green Berets, we all tried to quit there and go down to the 82nd. We offered to carry machine guns for them or just be ammo bearers because we wanted to be in the Great War.
Even though the 82nd went in on buses.
Well, and then we felt that was Desert Shield. Once Desert Storm started, and it turned out to be a 100-hour war.
A whole 100 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty glad we stayed in the Q course. But afterwards, after Schwarzkopf gave or allowed Saddam Hussein to keep his helicopters, and Saddam Hussein took those helicopters and turned them right back onto the Kurds in the mountains. So 10th Group's job, and then pushed them out of all their towns and villages and into the mountains. So 10th Group's job, they went in and they came down south from Turkey into the mountains, and they created refugee camps for all the refugees and fed the Kurds and things like that. And that mission name was Provide Comfort 1.
Yeah.
And I showed up at Fort Devens just a couple months after that had started. And since I was already Halo qualified, I didn't have to go to the BOP or anything or go be a commo in the commo van. Usually you do. See, when you got to remember, guys, back in those days, the amount of guys graduating the Q course was very, very slim, right? So out of a graduating class, each group would get each battalion in all the groups would get like 2 or 3 people out of there. So I was one of the guys that showed up for 10th Group. And I was already Halo qualified, so I took a civilian flight to Turkey and met my team over in Incirlik, Turkey. And my team sergeant's like, "Hey, you speak French, don't you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "Good. We got to, this is several weeks later when we all come back out of the camps and everything." He's like, "Yeah, we're going to jump with the French and give them American jump wings. So you give the class." So I was sitting there giving the class on how to don the parachutes and everything. And Major King from the old Colonel King from SWIC. He was my company commander, and he's trying to correct my conjugation of verbs and stuff like that because he took French in West Point.
Okay.
And I was like, "Trust me, sir, this is the way they really talk," that kind of thing.
Yeah. And
then this little staff car drove up, and a big, tall French officer gets out, and he's like, je connais toi. And it was my company commander from the French Foreign Legion, and I was his driver, 5 years before that. So this is 91. I left in 86. So he busted me, I guess I'm so good looking. I just, everybody remembers my face. So I just went to French position of attention and gave him the French salute and said, Legionnaire Leroux, deserter, 1986.
But now you're here as a Green Beret, a ambassador for the U.S. government. And he really couldn't do anything to you.
No, he actually gave me a big hug and everything. He said, where's your French jump wings? I said, I lost them in a bar fight. So he took his French jump wings off and gave them to me right there.
Shit. Yeah. Well, wasn't that nice of him? All right. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I am trying. I promise I am. All right. We have multiple requests for Sue to show his nipples. No, not from me. All right. So Sue already did that. Guys, that's it. We're not doing a nipple cam here.
You're not missing much.
You're not missing much. All right. Next one is from Annalise and her husband. Help the wife. This is actually the husband here. Help the wife make batch 2 of candles. We will be sending one your way soon. Well, thank you. Annalise, that's Kentucky Fried Korean. That's her handle on social media. She actually made a called Carl's Cookies. She had made me some blueberry and white chocolate chip cookies for class. Her husband came and took, I think it was high risk travel, and she chickened out. She was scared to come to class. So I'm giving her a hard time because she had to work or something. Yeah. He came and it was a great course. He's awesome. Kyle, you're awesome. He did great, but she felt so guilty. She ended up sending me some blueberry white chocolate chip cookies, and they are awesome, guys. They were orgasmic. These things were just incredible. So now she's making candles, and she's making me a blueberry flavored candle. Have you ever had somebody make you a flavored candle, Sue?
Not that I can remember.
Me neither. Who does that? That's some weird ass shit right there. Okay, you're gonna make me a candle. Okay. All right, let's see. We're still moving here. All right. Matthew Dion. And Lisa, you know we love you. Matthew Dion. Hi, Carl, comma. Is there ever a reason to use second focal plane scopes? Thanks and God bless. Sue, I'll let you go first.
Yes, there is a reason to use second focal plane scopes when you are using a your. I've got second. I actually went back to second focal plane scopes. Carl and I and guys like Steve Holland and things. We fought real hard to get first focal plane scopes because in the sniper realm. And you gotta understand, guys. During most of the 80s and 90s, the Navy Warcom, so the Navy SEALs, the sniper school over there, they pretty much ran the procurement for what we used.
They love their second focal plane.
Yeah, they love their second focal plane. We couldn't get them off of that. What we figured out real quick, especially when we started getting clip-ons in front of our day scopes. Clip-on is your I-squared or your thermal that you can put on front in your scopes.
You mount it on the rail
when we first went to Afghanistan, we would actually have to take our day scope on and put a night scope on to work, and that didn't turn out too well.
PBS 17, remember that old thing?
So we would take the 17 and put it on like an M24 and keep our day scope on a 25 or vice versa. I think I kept my day scope on a 24 and put the 17 on my SR25. So just a whole hodgepodge of stuff. But when I finally got into on a fluke, got into acquisitions because of don't ever hit reply all and say nasty
another
thing.
story.
But so I end up in acquisitions as punishment. But at least I had the experience that we'd all gone through both Afghanistan, Iraq, and Djibouti, and all the places we went. And the sniper equipment was coming in pretty steadily, but the stuff wasn't working well together. So we went in, we fought for first focal plane scopes, because when you put that clip on in front of a day scope, usually you have to dial back the power. And you got to understand, Carl and I, we went through sniper school on a 10 power fixed scope. So even a variable scope was
old,
new equipment
to us.
Mark
III.
Yeah, so it was new equipment to us on. But to get a good focus on your clip-ons, you'd have to dial the power back between 9 and 12, maybe sometimes down to 6 if you didn't get a whole lot of ambient light. So you'd have to really dial down the power. And when you dialed that down, well, of course, you could still see the reticle, but you couldn't use it, because on a second focal plane scope, there's only one setting. And usually with the scopes we were using were Night Force at the time, you had to dial all the way back to 22 to use that reticle for ranging, right? And it just didn't make sense. We didn't have time. Our targets don't cooperate with us in combat. They don't stand there and wait for us to dial back up settings and everything and figure out what the range is and then go back and get focus on that. So we fought real hard to get first focal plane scopes. Now that's the sniper community, right? And we at the time we also had the Mark 12s, which is a 5.56 little sniper rifle. We also used some of the older and some of the longer M16 A2s. We were putting optics on top of those, right? And then when we went down to our M4s and we put a 1-6 or 1-8 in there, now you got first focal plane scope, but you're not really worried about that reticle. You're worried about short distances and stuff like that. And you usually go power all the way up or power halfway down if you put a clip on in front of that. But you zero that reticle and everything for a rifle like that, you don't really need a first focal plane scope, because the reticle doesn't mean that much to you. So that's my story.
So you understand what he's saying is a lot of the older reticles, literally, when you dialed it down, you couldn't see the reticle anymore on the low power variable scope. So
so you get down to say a 1-8. So you get down to 2 power, and your reticle's only that big. You can't even
use it anyway.
So.
Now, they fixed that basically by when you dial it down. There's actually an outer donut of death that now comes into field of view. So when you go all the way down to 1 power, and he's right, you don't need a mill grid for holdovers when you're on 1 power. So that donut of death is now in view, and you're able to use it like that. So for me, there was a time back in the day where that was the argument that especially law enforcement snipers was they needed to be able to see their mill dots so that they just had something to aim with, because they're not holding for wins at all. But for me, no, I have zero use for second focal. I've got second focal plane scopes, but now there are so many great first focal plane ones out there. There's lots of new reticles out there. There really are. I was actually just playing with the EOTech 1-10, and it's totally badass. So let me get caught up here. I got another one. All right. This is from Ray Craddock again. 10 Bones Sue, did you ever work with Commo Dude Suplink in 10th group? He was with the Kurds with Operation Comfort.
Provide comfort. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Suplink.
Yeah, Suplink. I think I did know him at Devon's. I introduced you to David Gertz, right? Some of these guys, you got to remember. I was in 10th group back in the early 90s. So a guy walked up to me, and I didn't recognize his face. And he said, "You remember me? When Carl and I were at the NRA show just a couple of days ago." And he's like, "You remember me? I'm Dave Gertz." And I was like, "Yeah, I remember you gave me a kiss in free fall. That was the most disgusting thing that ever happened to me in free fall in my life." But
all right, we got another one here from Gavin Simpkins. He's from Australia. Hi, Susan. I have a question for Sue on if he has ever on an SF group called the French SFB. You ever play with the French SBS? SBS.
A small boat squad.
Small boat squad. French SBS.
No. I did work with the French Army in Bosnia. I did a lot of in Sarajevo. We did this since the French counter sniper cell. And we did track down a lot of the firing positions and a lot of the snipers that wouldn't give up after the Dayton Peace Accords. So,
all right, next one is from my uncle James Swain. I actually just was at James is the guy who let me babysit all of my sniper rifles and stuff at his house while I was at the SHOT Show NRA convention. James, so thank you. By the way, that coffee and donuts was awesome this morning. James's question, $50 super chat, by the way. James, I appreciate the support. He's one of my patrons. Hey guys, can you talk about the difference between the gas and piston-driven AR platform?
I can. Yes, I can.
Seaux Larreau, would you elaborate a little more on the difference between the gas impingement system and the piston?
The direct impingement. The direct impingement system goes all the way back to Carl Stoner. It originated in an AR-10 and a 308. So what we know is the M16 today was actually first designed in a 308 rifle, right? But he basically invented the system where the gas block up to the front of the rifle, when the round goes through the barrel, some of that gas comes back through a tube, comes all the way back into and hits the bolt carrier group, right? The big bolt where your locking lugs are and everything, and it pushes that bolt carrier group back into a buffer spring and a buffer.
Turns the bolt and
unlocks it, pushes it back. All right. Now all that dirty gas goes on to that dirty gas full of carbon and everything goes on to the next round that's coming into the chamber. So now you have a dirty round going into the chamber, and it worked okay back in the 60s with the.
So why would he do it though? Why would he do that instead of just going with the piston like on the M14 or the AK?
Because
what was his reason for doing it?
I'm not really sure about that. Why did he do it?
He did it, guys, because when you're talking accuracy,
Oh yeah.
Obviously, a bolt gun is more accurate than a AK. Why? Because at consistent chamber pressure, the bolt stays locked the whole time. So what he did was the alternative to that bolt gun, where the bolt stays locked till the bullet leaves the end of the barrel. The way a AK or an M14 works is a little bit of that gas is bled off, and that cycles that next round. That
through an op rod.
With an operating rod. Now, the problem with that with a piston is that's big, sloppy tolerances, and to make them reliable. And sometimes the gas vents a little bit more or a little bit less per bullet. And what you end up getting is one bullet that's doing 2705 feet per second, and the next one's doing 2,700 feet per second, and the next one's doing 2,780 per second. And what you end up getting is rounds that string high or low, which does not equate to accuracy for long range shooting. So by him literally making it go through such a small route that literally very, very controlled, by the time it got all the way back, remember, this was designed in a very, very long barrel with a very, very long gas tube. By the time they got it all the way back there with enough gas pressure to unlock that bolt carrier group, that bullet was already out the end of the barrel long before those bolt lugs had ever unlocked. So it was very, very consistent, and it made for an accurate platform. The problem with tight tolerances, and when you try making a direct impingement weapon more accurate for competition, JP Enterprise guns, stuff like that, the tolerances are so tight. And so long as they're clean and they're immaculate, they're reliable enough to get you through a 3-gun match. That's not combat. It's you get little bits of dust, moisture, slime from the jungle, everything else.
Well, that's right. That's where I jump back in again. Back in acquisitions, you guys, some of you might remember that the Russians, long before they invaded the Ukraine, they invaded a little country called Georgia. The 10th Group team was there, and there's a 9x19 caliber. The Russians had to do something if they're using a 9mm, but there's a 9mm projectile inside of basically a 19mm case, like the AK, right? Kind of like our 300 Blackout that we've developed, but it's basically a 9mm slug. But they use it in a couple weapons called VSS and VSK. When the 10th Group team was there, saw these down to the squad level. They said they were very effective in getting real close in there. These were suppressed weapons, suppressed all the time, totally suppressed. The weapons aren't so great, but that round, it's all subsonic and everything. We got to looking at that on the acquisition side of the house through all those intel reports, and we're like, hey, we need to make the entire platoon or the entire ODA for the Marines and for the infantry, and everybody we would need to start developing suppressors for everything, right? Mm-hmm. So when you talk about using a direct impingement like the M16 with suppressors, now you get a lot more of that gas.
It's even because you're overgassing the whole system.
You're overgassing the whole system. You're getting a whole bunch of carbon inside there. You go through 3 mags, and pretty soon your action's so gummed up that you can't operate that weapon in a direct impingement. Now you use a short stroke system, right, where there's a little bit of gas coming back and hitting a push rod, and this push rod pushes the bolt carrier group back. There is none of that gas going on to the next round and coming up your receiver, right? And Carl's right, it's not as accurate as some of the direct impingement stuff, but they've come a long way in the manufacturing of these weapons. And some of the bolt carrier groups have some modifications on them. My POF Revolution, they do a real good job in that. They have a whole. They haven't changed the bolt carrier group. It's still kind of mil spec, but they've got a roller cam where the bolt lug is, and it operates a lot better. And you put a suppressor on that. Now you can actually go into combat, leave your suppressor on, and not worry about your weapon.
He's right. It was 9x39, not 9x19. You got corrected.
What did I say?
You said 9x19. I knew what you meant.
It's 9x39.
It's 9x39.
9x30. Matter of fact, I'm looking. I do my day job is I do weapons or ammunition development. I'm actually looking at that round right now to introduce it in the Western Hemisphere. It's a fantastic round, 9x39.
All right, this one is from Craddock again, 5 bones. I have in Jerry J accent, Carl. Thank you, Carl and Sue, for your answers. How much ammo do we bring for Patreon weekend? Smiley face crying. All right.
As much as you want.
Yeah, you can bring as much as you want. Here's the deal, guys. What he's asking about is once a year for our patrons. If you don't know what we're talking about, you can go to patreon.com/tactical rifleman. And I know you guys love all the free content you get from YouTube, right? This is all for free for you guys, but you can go to Patreon, and you're not so much paying for the content that you are patrons. You are helping support us, because the reality is all my videos get demonetized now, so I'm not making much off of YouTube. So I have patrons, and you can pay $1 a month. I have patrons that pay substantially more than that. But let's say you pay $2 a month. We do a quick shooting tip. If you pay $5 a month, we do story time with Carl. And then we do question and answer videos and Zoom live streams. We're literally like this, but everybody can interact with it. So that was actually Friday night. I did my Zoom live stream with my patrons. But the one thing we do every year is a class just for our patrons. And it is a shindig, dude. It is a party. It is 4 days long. And this year we are doing it in November. It is actually the weekend right before Thanksgiving. We're doing it here in Texas at a cowboy town, one of those places where like people go to hold weddings. So it's all like really nice, but all the lodging is like no joke in like cowboy town stuff and everything. It's very cool. I don't care about that. I don't care that they do horseback riding and zip lines. We're not doing that. We're using all the ranges. Sue's one of the instructors coming. He's going to be doing his tracking class again. We're going to be doing
in a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Travis Hall's going to be doing medical again. We got Chad Mormon coming. We're going to be doing escapology, handcuffs again. We're going to get into lock picking for the advanced guys that did it last year. We're going to be doing precision rifle this year, also Barrett 50 cal. But and we're still doing our pre-day, which is pistol, carbine, lever guns, and shotguns. And because this is a family-oriented event, so if you bring your wife and let's say your teenage kids, maybe your wife and your daughter aren't familiar with firearm safety, or they're not comfortable around firearms, bring them to what we call the 0 day or the pre-day. That's all shooting. But if you, so bring shotgun ammo, bring pistol ammo, bring carbine ammo, but bring me some 38 special for my lever guns. But let's say you're not going to do the pre-day. You're coming. We are going to have a day of, it's the long range day is actually going to be at Tiger Valley where we're at right now. While you're doing precision rifling, guys are welcome to bring their own precision rifles or they can shoot mine. You're also going to have 2 Barrett 50 cals there. Now, I'm not using up my Barrett 50 cal ammo for it, but if you would like to shoot the Barretts, I've got data on just about every kind of round under the sun. You bring whatever 50 cal ammo you want. If you want to shoot cheap ball ammo, literally, guys, you can order it from Brownells or Cheaper Than Dirt for $6 a round. If you want to shoot Rofus rounds, I'll put you out something to hit with Rofus rounds, but understand Rofus rounds are like $100 a round now. That said, while that round robin's going on, down on the pistol and carbine bays, Emery, Ross, and Herstoff from Tactical Performance Center and a couple other instructors, they are going to be running our CTEs in a round robin. We're going to be running stress tests, all this stuff with a score sheet. Susan Britcher is going to have a score sheet down there, literally keeping scores on all of the patrons for bragging rights, because I know Donut wants to outshoot Susan, and everybody knows Jerry J is going to outshoot everybody. Probably not. We'll see. But you never know. But we also have a patron that's bringing a bunch of full auto guns. So Think 5.56, think 9mm. But literally, you don't have to bring a lot of ammo, or you can bring a lot. Ray, I understand you and the missus are coming all the way in from Hawaii for this. I'll tell you what, dude. You bring her in, you bring your guns, you let me know what calibers. And if you can't buy ammo local and have it delivered there, I will bring enough ammo to cover your family, and you just pay for what you use. I'm not going to try to get rich off of selling you ammo. I'm not. So I'm going to take great care of you. I will. All right, so let me see where I left off here.
And I will try to bring some of our frangible ammo. So
yes,
we got a lot of things we're going to work together on, from Maxim Defense to and tactical.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
The frangible stuff is a lot more fun to get instant feedback from steel targets.
Oh yeah, being up close, and
it's a whole bunch of fun.
Their frange is literally, guys. You can
shoot
hold
it through
that
suppressors,
pistol.
anything you want.
Yeah, you can be up close to the steel. Staff Sergeant Dingham's back again with 5 bones. Good day, Sue. Any chance you can share your 10th group coin with TR Nation? Thank you. They want to see your coin, Sue.
I don't have one.
What? You're saying if I was to slap a table right now with a coin, you wouldn't have a coin?
I don't have a coin. Nope. I used it as a nipple protector, and I lost my nipples.
So if I was to whip out my coin right now, you'd have to buy the next round of beer for everybody in the bar.
Everybody on this whole.
That's my old unit coin, guys. A15. Right on the back, it has the quote from President George Bush: "We'll bring you to justice, or we'll bring justice to you."
And I have a whole tub of those.
I know you do.
Back on my desk.
I'm not going to coin.
I don't carry one because I have one of these cell phones that does this, and the coin keeps flying out.
Yeah. You see what I pad my coin with? I got a stack of these stickers, guys. I've used 3 of them on this trip already. Wow. Should I coin them?
Yeah.
Should I coin Sue?
You should.
You're gonna buy me a drink tonight. Shit. Yeah. That ain't gonna happen. No, guys, I should coin Sue, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna put that bitch away.
You're from Australia. You get rid of COVID, I'll get a coin. I'll start getting a coin.
Okay. Let's see. We did that one already. We did that one. All right. We already did that one. This from Rue Rich, Carl Sue. Opinions of OSS out the front suppressors. You know what they're talking about?
Yeah, the OSS suppressor. Yeah. The OSS suppressor used to. We knew the guy, Russ Oliver, who invented the OSS suppressor. Worked with them real well.
What's your opinion of their out the front suppressors?
The DB, they work very well as far as flow through system. Their blowback is minuscule. It comes back and goes back through another channel, goes out the front, does very well. My opinion is the DB they're still pretty damn loud.
Decibel reduction.
The decibel reduction is not very well. We got. I've seen. Our booth for where Carl and I were at NRA was right next to Silencer Shop. There was no OSS suppressors in Silencer Shop. They're not.
Yeah, you understand they carry like
all the suppressors.
All the suppressors.
Yeah, so the Maxim Defense suppressor, for example, we got DBs at about 134. So that's really good. Really good. And you got to understand, to get down to a 132 or 131, it's like times power at 10 to reduce that suppressor. So they even got machine gun suppressors out there right now.
When you look at suppressors, you're looking at 2 things. Do I want to get rid of the noise, or do I want to get rid of the flash, or do I want to get rid of both? And understand if you want it to be really, really quiet, understand you're creating a lot of extra back pressure. So that's fine on a bolt gun. You can go insanely quiet on a bolt gun, but if you're running a direct impingement gun, you're going to want something that's got a lot of float through and not a lot of overpressure. But for me, for me, a balance. If you're going to run a suppressor all the time, you need to be running a piston gun.
And Russ Oliver, and we had this discussion at NRA. If you go to Europe right now, it's rude not to have a suppressor. Okay, a suppressor is basically a muffler. Okay, and Russ Oliver, who doesn't work for OSS anymore, he doesn't own the company anymore. He actually makes some of the mufflers for Polaris now. So a suppressor is basically a muffler.
Yep. This guy, Malabanis, threw down 10 bones with a permanently attached suppressor. Why not tap gas from the suppressor instead of the barrel?
That is a great question, and that's something that I've seen a lot of drawings on, and I got NDAs signed with some of these other companies and everything. But an integrated suppress system does exactly that. There's some guys that are experimenting with that now, but right now, most of your gas blocks are before
the suppressor,
before the gas goes, or before the gas goes to the suppressor.
Think about it, because you need to be able to remove that suppressor, right? Cleaning it, whatever, because I understand carbon definitely builds up. So now you're threading out, but you're trying to have a hole where you're bleeding gas off of it. So he said there are people working on it, but they haven't got it out yet. Why? Because it's easier said than done. In order to make that action cycle reliably, you have got to.
It's got to be consistent.
It's got to be consistent. You've got to capture the same amount of gas every time, and it's not as easy as people think it is. Not at all. Cash Me Outside. What kind of clip-on or nod should I get that will take the recoil of a 308 or bigger?
The new.
If you go with mil spec and make sure it says that it's rated for something bigger than what you're planning on shooting. So, for example, when they say it'll shoot up to a 50 cal, that's marketing, right? You don't go, man, it says up to a 50 cal. I'm going to put it on my 50 cal. No, they're saying it's made for a 308, but if you put it on a 50 cal, it will probably be okay. But it was made for a 308, right? So if you're going to put it on a 338 Lapua, understand if it's made for a 338 Lapua, that suppressor's got the correct size hole, but they also made it strong enough to handle all that gas. In other words, just because a 22 long rifle suppressor will also pass a 223 bullet through it doesn't mean that those baffles are set up to take, the gas that's coming out of a 5.56 gun. Now, likewise, just like suppressors, you're putting an optic, you're mounting it in front of that day scope. What?
You ever use a pillow as a silencer, Carl?
Have I ever used a pillow as a silencer? No. Honestly, I never have. It's actually quieter to do contact touching with the barrel. What I mean by that is literally just stick it right there and then pull the trigger. It'll be quieter than putting a pillow. Serious. No, because that's shit you see in the movies. They put the pillow over the guy's head, guys, because they don't want to see it. They don't want to get the mess, the splatter. They don't want the blood spatter coming back. But push the barrel into the guy's side as hard as you can. Go for the kidneys.
I've got there I was minding my own story. Mind my own business story.
There you are.
Watching the movies.
Minding your own business.
Remember what movie it was. I think it was one of what's the guy that anyway, it was a movie where the guy taped basically he was running through the ship and he got a Pepsi bottle, drained the Pepsi, and he stuck it on there and taped it onto his pistol and used that as a suppressor.
Okay.
Right. So I was out on guard duty, minding my own business, and we just moved to Fort Carson, Colorado, and there was a bunch of elk out there, right, on a full moon with a scope.
What caliber gun was this?
I had an M24 308, and I was on guard duty. We're out there in tents and everything, and I had some live rounds. So I thought, well, I'll just walk away from camp a little bit and I'll get me some elk meat, right? So I took a Mountain Dew jug, finished my Mountain Dew. I taped it on the end of the M24, got up close to the elk, went to shoot, and it blew my ears out so bad that I actually dropped the rifle. Doesn't work, guys.
It's not. You understand? That's not what it's made to do. All right. Another one, Mark of McKinney. Hi, Carl. I have a CMMG 22 long rifle conversion kit for my AR-15. Assuming it cycles, do you see any problem shooting the smaller 22 long rifle through a 223-556 bore suppressor? Any alignment concerns? Ooh, Sue, that's your realm. That's not mine.
I shouldn't think so. I don't know
No, see, the problem with like shooting UTM rounds is they're not 556. They're much smaller and they bounce down the barrel. And that going through a suppressor, you're going to get baffle strikes. And that's what he's more worried about here.
The alignment,
.22 long rifle is technically a little bit smaller than .223, which is just more contact deeper in the lands.
Actually,
and
the
groove.
projectiles are .224.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honest dude, I would shoot it. I would. The worst thing you're going to have, start off though shooting paper with it. Make sure you got iPro on. All right. But shooting paper at like 3 meters, 7 meters, 10 meters, and just shoot at white sheets of paper and see if you start getting slugs going through the paper sideways. And if they are, that means you're getting baffle strikes inside. Then quit doing it because you don't want to screw up your suppressor. But honestly, I don't think you'll have any problems with it. I don't. I think it'll run. I think it'll run like a champ.
I think it'll fly pretty straight because usually those projectiles are a lot lighter than a 223. Your 223 start about 55 grain. Your 22 is about 40 grain, something like that.
All right. We did that one. All right, next one. Staff Sergeant Dingham's back with 2 bones. Poor boy running out of money. Sue, I have your 10th group for you.
Oh,
smiley face crying.
Hey, 10th group's twice as good as 5th group. Do the math, man. Speaking of that, it's Veterans Day today.
It is Veterans Day.
Or not Veterans Day, Memorial Day.
It's Memorial Day.
Sorry, I had COVID, so I can't remember.
Freaking nutbag.
So, yeah, but I think we should honor our favorite, memorialize or just bring up a name that a guy that we lost, that we want to remember.
Except he didn't die.
Well, we didn't die, but
I'm talking about General Mulholland. I was actually told today, guys, that General Mulholland passed away, but turns out General Mulholland didn't pass away. So, all right, did I spoil your joke, Sue?
No. I want to talk about Dan Petitory. Remember Petitory's Privy?
Petitory's Privy. So
Dan Petitory was one of the funniest guys in 5th group.
Funniest guys in 5th group
ever met.
Awesome. So
on a Halo team, he would put on Elvis glasses and break all the chem lights and tie him to his uniform, and he would be the flying Elvis of 5th group.
So
jump out of planes like that.
Everybody in group knew Petitory. Now, if you guys have ever seen the movie The Green Berets, the old John Wayne movie, came out in '69. I didn't see it till I was in junior high school, but towards the end of the movie, there's a guy there named Petitory, and John Wayne is always talking to this guy. He's like, "What's wrong, man? What's wrong?" He's like, "It just because everywhere they went in Saigon, there were buildings named after dead Green Berets, and this guy's chow hall, and this guy's supply building, and this guy's this, and this guy's road." And that Petitory was like, "Well, sir, it just doesn't sing." So anyway, Petitory ends up dying at the end of the movie, and he whispers into John Wayne's ear, but they end up naming the latrine, this latrine building down in Saigon, Petitory's Privy. So fast forward to the global war on terror. Me and Seaux Larreau, we A15, we get to Kandahar, and Kandahar is being guarded by Marines. And literally, the AC-130 Spectre gunships had just got done bombing it. There are no buildings, there's no tents, there's no nothing. The headquarters is in the part of the airport that was left, but they told us just go over there. So there was like a bombed out Russian hospital, and literally like all the buildings are like all scorched. Remember where I threw your tomahawk up
You're
top?
jumping ahead a little bit. Yeah, but Pedatory was already gone. He was with Karzai team. He was on 574. You guys probably saw the movie about it. That team that actually worked with Karzai.
He was one of the warlords back then. He later went on to be
president of Afghanistan.
Yeah, be the first president. So we go setting up our tents, north face dome tents, and you'd wake up in the morning and there was a old Russian fountain that obviously didn't have any water in it, and that's where we would build our fire. So you'd get out of your tent cold, you'd go over the building, you'd shake yourself off a chunk of wood. You'd stick it in the coals, kind of blow on it. You'd sit your canteen cup down there, and you would start doing your hot cup of coffee, so you could make yourself your breakfast.
Yeah,
and
fifth group guys couldn't take the cold.
We couldn't take the cold. So for bathing, all we had was like, hey man, we haven't had a shower in a while. We need a shower. They get us these like wash pans made out of stainless steel. We had a water truck. It was a water trailer. It was originally had a cab on it, but the AC-130 had blown the front of it off. So we would tow it to the Marines, fill it up with water with a Humvee. We tow it with a Humvee. We'd pull it back over right outside our little gate there, and the water's just leaking out of this thing. And you'd bring your little stainless steel pan, and you'd catch all your water. When it was full, you'd basically take a bitch bath. You'd take all your clothes off. You'd sit there and you'd squat, do kimchi squat, and you'd kind of wash your nuts off real quick. And it's cold, guys. It's freaking cold. And you'd scrub all up and everything, splash the water. And that was how you washed. Well, after 3 or 4 days of doing this, the Marines had a few females, and they would literally come out with their MREs to eat breakfast, and they'd sit on the wall and watch us out there doing the ape man washing of our ball sacks and shit. And we're like, hey, about some of that maple nut cake right there, but they put on a show for them. We don't care. So
I had tall nipples back then.
Yeah, all nipples, right? And trust me, those nipples were rock hard with as cold as that water was. So we look, this is fine, but everybody shitting on the side of the buildings and peeing everywhere, that ain't gonna work. So the PA, he's like, look, we got to dig a big slit trench. So we got the entire company there. Well, they end up getting a backhoe. They dig us this thing, and a couple of the engineers, they make this, 8 seats on each side?
8 seats.
They make, so there's 16 seat shitter. Literally, and it's a 20-foot drop underneath the seats. We
covered it with a Russian parachute.
Yeah, Russian parachute. We got from the ejection seat from one of the MiGs that the AC-130 had shot up. It was orange and white stripes. So we put this thing over the top of it with the camo net pole holders.
The Marines couldn't see us.
So the Marines couldn't see us, and they're rubbing one out, right? Because you'd be on guard duty, and you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna. And take my Maxim magazine I got in the mail, fresh pictures from the wife or something, right? So anyway, so we get word, hey, because the AC-130s were going out every night and just crushing everything. If they saw you guys know what a technical is? That's like a pickup truck with a machine gun in the back. 2 technicals driving along, they would, AC-130 looking for targets of opportunity, they would just hit them. 40 millimeter Boffers, automatic cannon, the 25 millimeter Gatling guns, and then the 105 howitzer. A lot of firepower on an AC-130. Well, one night while the AC-130s were out getting their kill on, there were some pickup trucks down there that had little IR strobes on them. They had glint tape. They had orange VS-17 panels, and anyway, Pedatory ended up getting killed that night by the U.S. Air Force. And normally it's like, this is not a guy in the company. It doesn't matter. There are other guys that have been killed, 5th group already. But like Sue said, Pedatory everybody knew Pedatory because me and Sue were on a Halo team. So we would go do Halo train ups, and he was there. Everybody knew Pedatory. So I come out.
He was also a sniper, so
Yeah.
we'd meet up at the sniper competition, and Pedatory would always wear the Bubba teeth in front of the sergeant. When the sergeant major came to give us a briefing and everything, and he had these teeth that would stick out way below.
What's up, Kevin?
Way below the.
Kevin.
Anyway.
Dude, I'm doing a live stream, dude. It goes until they're done. It'll go at least 2 hours. I thought you were going to bring the burgers here. No? Why would I bring burgers here? He's like, no, they're out there waiting for us to come back. All right, guys. So in conclusion, because I'm sorry, Coach. We're gonna head your way in a little bit. All right. All right. Thanks, man. Bye bye. Sorry about that. So, anyways, I come out one day and T-shirt, pistol, and somebody had made a cardboard sign and it said Pedatory's Privy, and it hit home that it was a good way to honor him because our unit hadn't taken any casualties yet. Literally, we didn't. Our first Purple Heart was Buddy Ward getting shot through the ankle.
Our
company had not. We hadn't taken any casualties. Yeah, fifth group had lost people, but we hadn't, and so we hadn't thought of what are we going to name? What do we have the name? We can't name the bombed out Russian hospital. We can't. So Pedatory Privy, he got the Russian
that's
parachute.
Exactly what he would have requested.
That's what he would have wanted. He's like,
because
it sang. It sang.
So, yeah, damn
Pedatory Privy. Good stuff. All right. Let's see what else we got here. OSS, we already did that one. I'm sorry, guys. I do try. We've got a bunch coming in here. Sherry Champagne, threw down 5 bones. Carl, comma. Sue, period. Did you hear about this new 9mm ammo that can blow the lung right out of your body? Laugh, 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 laugh. Can blow your lung right out of your body. 9mm ammo that she'd make it sound like it's a joke.
something that's pretty close, Sherry. Got that 9mm frangible does some pretty amazing things. Matter of fact, we're talking about doing a YouTube video about it. So
Steph's on Dingham's back, 50 bones minus shipping and handling. Me again, Sue. CW2 Supplick was shot outside his home in 2012 at close range by 5.22 long rifles en route to work. He survived, and I helped with his physical therapy. He gave me an honorary 10th group coin in honor of friendship and brotherhood. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate you sharing that on Memorial Day. That's kind of cool. Dude, that is literally I believe that's our last one. All right. Here's another one. Joe Stubborn Stenzen Jen just threw down 10 bones. My friend wants me to sell him my M1A. Should I do it and buy an AR-10? I need something that will eat any ammo and is accurate for shit hits the fan. Yeah, honest. M1A, basically your M14, was a very, very accurate gun for the end of the Vietnam era. But it's dated. Either you need to put it up on the wall behind glass with a couple loaded magazines, or honest, get rid of it. Unless you are a nostalgic guy that wants to keep it as part of a collection. What I'm saying is, I personally, and I understand, guys, I went all of my sniper schools except for Sodic, Second ID Sniper School, 101st Sniper School, the DA Sniper School, and Desert Storm, I carried a M21, which is an accurized M14, basically. So I have a lot of time behind it. It is an accurate gun, but it's dated. It's dated. I would go with a good AR-10.
I love my M1A. I got my brothers. My little brother was a Marine Corps sniper. He got the President's 100.
But if you had to grab a gun for shit hit the fan, which is what he said.
Shit hits the fan. I recommend getting again and I've worked for Maximum Defense and everything, but my favorite one is the Revolution made by Patriot Ordnance Factory. And it's basically looks like an AR-15. That's an AR-10. Or it's really good. Emery's got my other one and won't give it back. So you guys, I've got 2 of them, but Emery won't give it back. So I guess I'm down to 1.
I'm actually playing with. I like Adams Arms piston guns.
Adams Arms was at NRA.
Yeah.
They have a great piston system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you prefer, the Revolution is in a DI. They have a direct impingement. If you don't care about suppressors and things like that, you can do a direct impingement. And they have an adjustable gas block on it. So if you do put a suppressor on, you got an adjustable gas block.
But you got to clean that blaster more often.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We have been going for, what time is it? Guys, we've been going for an hour and a half already. Literally, we've been out working all day long. Coach has got burgers for us at the range. We have not eaten dinner. So let's wrap this thing up again. We've gone for an hour and a half. That's a decent live stream. I can't believe you guys do this. You just want to sit here and listen to verbal diarrhea from 2 old crusty retired SF guys for over an hour and a half. So let's wrap this up for tonight. Again, I want to thank Hero Coffee for sponsoring, guys. Help everyone remain operational. Hero. And
everybody's asking about me shaving my beard. I thought it made me look younger too, but my wife said I prefer the beard. So I was like, honey, that makes you saying I'm ugly. So,
yes, there is that.
When it gets cooler again next fall, I'll grow my beard back. I promise.
All right, guys. Now, of course, not to be outdone, Marvin threw down 5 bones. Carl, Sue, sup, Marvin. You gotta do the chin thing. Chin. Sup, Marvin. Building my first AR-10. Should I got 308 or 6.5? Thanks. How did I know?
There we go again.
He had to sneak in. Somebody had to sneak in 6.5 or 308. For you, Marvin, I would build a 6.5. I would. I'd build a 6.5.
6.5 is fantastic trajectory. But again, everybody
you can't do it subsonic.
Everybody thinks 6.5. No, that's the latest and greatest. 6.5 actually competed against 308 when we went from 30-06. They didn't call it 6.5 back then. Notice it's a Creedmoor name down in Butler, North Carolina. So remember, when you guys build these 6.5s, I have a 6.5. I love it. The thing is, I don't shoot it very often because I know my barrel life is about 3,500 rounds. So it's what your budget can afford. That 308, that barrel, if you take care of it, will last you 10,000 rounds.
Yep, 10 grand all day long.
Remember that, Marvin. How many barrels do you want to buy?
Marvin is great. You jumping in right here. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Again, shout out to Hero Coffee. Want to give a big thanks for all of my moderators and everybody keeping you guys under control. Big shout out. Thank you for Susan for setting all this and handling this stuff, taking care of everything, and helping to put together the stuff for our Patreon course we got coming up. Guys, if you're not on Patreon yet, you are missing out because there's lots of great content there. But we'll see. You don't have to. You can.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yep, happy Memorial Day, guys. We will see you next Tuesday. I will be back home in the studio. Y'all take care and shoot straight.